What will last is pull. Having something so exciting, so attractive, something you desire so much that you have a hard time going to sleep at night and you get so up early in the morning to rock it and take it to the next level. So it's got to be a vision that's compelling, something that you know it's going to be a gift to make sure that it happens. And also, along with that compelling vision, you got to have strong enough reasons that you're going to follow through when the going gets tough. That's one of the biggest things missing for most people. They say, this is what I want to do. It's not very exciting, it's not very compelling, but most importantly, they don't have strong enough reasons to push themselves through what's going to be necessary to get that dream, to get that goal when the inevitable challenges come up, when you're starving, hungry, and you're trying to go on a diet, right? When you got no time and you're stressed out and you haven't worked out still, and that's what you're supposed to do. When the economy gets tight and what you thought you were going to do doesn't work, and so you give up on the goal instead of finding another way to get there. You don't let the fear take you over if you've got strong enough reasons. Those reasons can be positive, or those reasons can also be negative. They can be, if I don't do this, this is what's going to cost me. And if I do this, this is what I'm going to gain in my life. Reasons come first, answers come second. If you get a compelling vision and you got strong enough reasons that will push you through the tough times, you're going to do things other people don't do. Instead of collapsing, even if you get off target, you won't go, oh, I blew it. You'll get right back on target, make the change, make things happen.
responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. And another note, learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. See, I used to blame everything outside. And then let me give you a little philosophy that helped turn my life around. For your notes, here it is. It's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. And the reason is because what happens to about everybody. No different. What people do, that's what's different.
I remember praying one day. I'm out praying 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking to the Creator at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I ain't where I want to be. And I'm like, God, I ain't where I want to be. And he was like, you stop being a victim. I said, what you mean a victim? Well, it ain't my fault my mom got pregnant at 17. It ain't my fault my daddy wasn't there. It ain't my fault they couldn't get along. It ain't my fault. He said, boy, you grown. You ain't 10 no more. The decisions you make right now is up to you.
Take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. Someone said we have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions as they exist, or we can take the responsibility to change them. See, a lot of people want to exempt themselves from taking responsibility. All they want to do is talk about the problem. Every time you see them, they'll tell you their story over and over and over and over again. No. You want to take responsibility for your life.
You crying about something that happened to you when you was a kid. You ain't even no kid no more. You a grown man. Take full ownership. The stupid stuff you doing, your parents didn't make you play no video games. And what you crying about? So what, your daddy wasn't there? Your mama ended up getting married. What you crying about? He went to work every day. He never beat you. He never abused you. Your mama did the best she knew how to do. What you crying about?
I got me here, I can get me out of this. And I'm getting out. I'm not going to be a volunteer victim.
Man up, stop crying. Go look in the mirror and take full ownership. You got a phone and you're not learning the second language, that's your fault. You got a phone and you don't know how to do calculus, that's your fault. You got a cell phone, a smartphone, you can go on the internet and all you're doing is being social on it, while Zuckerberg is making billions of dollars on it. Showtime. Listen to me, one more thing, but I'll leave you with this. It's time to take ownership.
see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Give me 10 minutes to take you to the world of Metas.
Metas Adventist School Surat is one of the largest schools of Southern Asia Division with an enrollment of 8,107 students. Still maintaining its streak of success, the school has once again declared its 100% pass results in both the ICSE and the ISC board examinations for the 13th time. 43 students scored center marks in at least one subject. Co-curricular activities boost their aptitude beyond scholastic achievements, unearthing their innate talent and acquired skills. Students are encouraged to take part in international, state and national sporting events. They have excelled in the International Junior World Inline Cup, State Khel Mahakumbh Sports and the district basketball tournaments. Space exploration workshops have become a perennial event. A mini planetarium was set up within the school, opening the window to see the unexplored heavens with the naked eye. Asteroid sighting was the showstopper, with children viewing the moving celestial bodies through a telescope. This summer, 55 students visited the NASA facility in Orlando, Florida. It was a dream come true for aspiring astronauts. A new computer lab, provision for a lift, and shared in the gallery area of the playground are the projects completed recently. Spreading over a rolling campus carpeted in lush green foliage and trees, the Metas Adventist International School at Viara is an educational haven for the children. Its state-of-the-art infrastructure grants students the joy of learning in spacious, well-equipped classrooms with augmented facilities for art, music, drama and other extracurricular activities. Olympic-sized courts, fields for games as well as indoor sports facilities promote physical health. The boarding campus is a home away from home to 154 residential boys and girls. With almost a total strength of 1,536 students, Viara evolved to be a center of education and excellence to many tribal students of the area. Metas Adventist School is a jewel crown in the educational sector at Ranchi with 1,903 students. The board examination results are truly outstanding, a reflection on the high standards of education imparted. A myriad of co-curricular activities encourage to broaden the scope of learning beyond classrooms. Students consistently excel in sports, winning accolades and laurels in statewide competitions. We are addressing our space crunch problem by constructing more classrooms. God willing, our enrollment will cross 2,500 students by the next academic year. Metas Adventist School, Newswood has preserved its heritage, enduring the odds on its furtherance. There are 898 students studying in the school with 170 boys and 155 girls staying in the hostels. Out of the abundance of goodness and the generosity of friends and donors, the school is enriched and equipped with educational tools to provide a richer learning experience. This year too, the school has excelled in volleyball, football and badminton tournaments at different levels. The Metas President's Fund helps the economically weaker section students to continue their education and provides for their basic needs too. Metas Adventist College Surat is the pioneer college of business management studies with a total enrollment of 826 students. Affiliated to the Northeastern Hill University at Shillong, Meghalaya, the college offers BBA, MBA and BCom study programs with a certificate course in Tally with GST. 8 students of the college were among the top 10 in the recent university examinations. Our students never returned empty-handed in the intercollegiate co-curricular and extracurricular activities. The college departmental clubs engage students in knowledge-based learning exercises and community-building projects to make them thinkers and not mere reflectors of others' thoughts. We congratulate our 3 faculties, Dr. Mohan Rao N. and Dr. Anil Kumar CH, and posthumously Dr. Job Dondapati for successfully completing their PhDs. We are also happy to inform that 3 more faculties have enrolled in the PhD program. The Metas Adventist School of Nursing has presently admitted the 38th batch of GNM students. Alongside classroom instructions, they engage themselves in clinical postings in the hospital, camps and community service. A vibrant campus of Metas Adventist College, Ranchi offers A&M, GNM, PB, BSc Nursing and the BSc Nursing program with a collective strength of 340 students. Blessed with sound infrastructure and well-equipped labs, the students have the best learning experience from the best team of tutors and clinical instructors. They consistently shine with excellence and outstanding performance in both scholastic and non-scholastic events. The recent Student Nurses Association witnessed an outstanding performance of skill and talent in sports as well as soft skills. Good things are happening on the campus through community building and environmental protection. Metas Adventist College of Nursing, Newswood is the only BSc Nursing college in the town of Newswood, having an enrollment of 243 students. By the grace of God, a good number of students passed with distinction in the years gone by. Students are co-partners in government, welfare and other community programs. They actively engage in bringing awareness against diseases and promote a preventive healthy lifestyle. They are exposed to research activities and sent to participate in conferences and seminars to update their knowledge and nursing practices. Research and development is taken seriously at Metas campuses. Faculty are actively engaged in paper presentations at the state, national and international conferences. Several books have also been published by our faculty in various disciplines. Mr. Sanjit Prakash was awarded the title Young Researcher. Metas Adventist Hospital, Surat is one of the oldest yet the modern medical institution of Southern Asia Division. Serving since 1923, the hospital has grown from an insignificant clinic to the present state-of-the-art edifice. Known for its excellence in quality service, this NABH-approved facility has seen 73,434 OPD patients and 11,042 inpatients. To its already vast scope of services, the hospital is granted permission to set up a renal transplant unit. There are plans for setting up a liver transplant unit in the near future. The hospital is also a certified teaching hospital for the DNB program in general medicine. Other courses in the pipeline are the CPS in gynecology and the Indo-Australian critical care course. Healthcare has become more accessible and affordable to the public with the introduction of government schemes such as Ma Yojana, Ayushman Bharat, etc. Being recognized for its quality service, the hospital was awarded Best Hospital in South Gujarat by the Times Group, My FM channel and other regulatory bodies. For the convenience of the campus residents, staffs, students and patients, an ATM is installed within the hospital premises. The Metas Adventist Hospital in Ranchi is improving. It has seen 11,922 patients and treated 6,591 so far this year. A total of 1,006 major and minor surgeries were performed. The eye department is picking up well. 3,000 OPD patients were seen while 131 were operated. Health camps were conducted to help the people in rural and remote areas where healthcare is not accessible. The new ICU wing is a blessing to the hospital and the community. A new software installed at the pharmacy makes inventory and management of drugs a lot easier for the pharmacy department. The operation theatre is now functioning with modern LED lighting system. A new scan machine was purchased for the department. For the benefit of the majority, the hospital is envisaging a tie-up with Ayushman Bharat PM Yojana scheme in the future. American Hospital, as it is still known today, Gifford Memorial Hospital, is inching towards its 100 years of service in the town of Newswood. Since 1925, many seeking respite from their ailments walked into its portals, experiencing healing from the great physician. This year, 897 OPD patients were seen while 6,581 patients were admitted with 229 surgeries performed altogether. 1,478 patients were seen in the eye OPD while 220 patients were given a second chance to see through successful surgeries. The GM Hospital in Newswood is undergoing a massive expansion program that will see the addition of new wings, new equipment, and the construction of 4 new operation theatres. Furthermore, additional accommodation is being built for the staff and the doctors. A cemented road around the hospital is laid, making the pathways more comfortable and easier to maintain. The hospitals at Ranchi and Newswood are working towards acquiring the entry-level NABH accreditation. There is a pressing need to build new hostels at Newswood and staff quarters. A new 750-bedded super specialty hospital is planned in the Ranchi campus, which will be taken phase-wise. A new nursing block, hostels and staff quarters will be taken up simultaneously. The Lord has heard our prayers and granted us permission to establish the Northeast Adventist University at Joai, Meghalaya. The IBE has graciously granted us permission to start 6 programs for the year 2020. Much is to be done and a lot more to accomplish for the Lord before we can rest. I beseech your prayer in uplifting Metas for his ministry. May the Lord bless Metas as we continue to strive to be a center of excellence in education and healing. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's international webinar on accountability, the key differentiator. Leaders who are accountable find a way to make it happen. Stephen R. Covey wrote, "Accountability breeds responsibility." The leaders are not always successful in their own goals, but they always accept responsibility for their results without any excuse. Myself, Kiran Elia, an assistant professor at Metas Adventist College, would like to take this chance on behalf of Dr. Srikakul Elia, the president and CEO of Metas Adventist College, to welcome all the attendees of today's session. I hope our series of webinars are helpful in your career and academic purposes. For those of you who are just joining us, please feel welcomed. And a recorded version of this webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel. Our speaker for today is Mr. Anand Joshua, the Executive Director of Christian Institute of Management. It's an honor and privilege to have you, sir, with us today. We welcome you amidst us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran sir. My name is Tushti Bakrania, a research scholar and assistant professor at Metas Adventist College, Surat. Your host for today's webinar is delighted to all the participants for joining today's national webinar. The resource person for today is Mr. Anand Joshua, Executive Director at Christian Institute of Management, is going to explicate on accountability, the key differentiator. Dear participants on Zoom platform and YouTube channel, please pay attention to some important instructions. You can post your questions, doubts, or queries on Zoom chat box or YouTube comment section. Please note, number of questions to be addressed is subjected to time constraint. Feedback link will be posted on comment section in YouTube and Zoom chat box during the question answer session, and it will be kept open till 12 p.m. on 1st December. Registration and submission of feedback form is mandatory to get participation e-certificate. Kindly note that your name on e-certificate will be as filled in the registration and feedback form. No changes will be entertained once the certificates are being issued. Any event cannot be started without seeking the blessings of God. So, I would like to call upon Mr. Khirot Dalpati, Assistant Vice President of Metas Adventist College, Surat, for offering prayer.
Shall we all bow our heads for prayer? Merciful, eternal, heavenly Father, what a beautiful morning which you have given us this morning, Lord. As we hear from the servant, Mr. Anand Joshua, about the accountability, the key differentiator, may all the viewers in the YouTube online be blessed. May all of us be edified and help us to know, Lord, that When we take responsibilities in our day-to-day life and in our organization and institution, in any place, Lord, we are to be accountable for the responsibilities. Thank you once again. We'd like to pray for your blessings upon each one of the participants and also the online viewers. May your blessings go with us and also with our speaker as he unfolds the secrets of knowledge coming from you. Once again, Lord, we'd like to thank you for this college and all the administrators, those who have accepted and given us permission to run this national webinar today. We'd like to submit all the program in your hands, for we ask all this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Kirot sir. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Anil Kumar, Professor and Head of Department of Management at Metas Adventist College, Surat, for his address.
Thank you, Tushti Madam. It is always good to see each one of you coming online and seeing this wonderful webinar that is being planned through the college. Each one of you will be blessed with this today's webinar. It is a wonderful webinar, and then our wonderful speaker has chosen a very apt topic to speak on accountability. Accountability is basically a secret weapon for our workplace to be successful. And each one of us will be successful only when we are accountable. With accountability comes responsibility, and with responsibility comes accountability. And therefore, accountability is the key for every leader who lives on this earth. So I now would like to invite Sir to give his thoughts and his wonderful rendition for this webinar, so that each one of us would be elevated to the next level of knowledge and wisdom that comes through accountability.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Kumar. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Ranjit Prakash, Assistant Professor, Metas Adventist College, Surat, to introduce our resource person for today.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, once again, good afternoon to all. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our resource person, that is Mr. Anand Joshua, who will be taking on today's national webinar on the topic Accountability, the Key Differentiator. Mr. Anand Joshua is presently serving as the Executive Director of Christian Institute of Management at Chennai. He is actively engaged with the Institute in its resource mobilization trainings and seminars for past over 5 years. His other passion is developing and formulating organization strategies for institutions with special focus on organization development and capacity building. He is also a passionate trainer who travels across India in reaching many employees, especially the leaders, in building up the management excellence and accountability standards. Without wasting much time, we would like to welcome you, sir, on behalf of our President and CEO, Dr. Elia Shikakoli. Over to you, sir. Mr. Anand Joshua, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjit. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's an honor and privilege for me to share what God has placed in my heart with all of you. It is a real privilege to share with members of the Metas Adventist College, and for the faculty and all those who are participating. We have chosen this subject, accountability, because it's relevant for the time, and we believe it is relevant for all the time, any time or for any generation of people. So with this small introduction, I am going to start. I hope you are able to see the screen that I am sharing. Yes. Yeah. So what I'm going to place before all of us is for our thought process. It is for my responsibility to ignite the thought process in each one of us. When we are accountable, we are making a huge difference in the society where God has placed us. We are in, as I was mentioning, each generation of people, they are placed in a context, and in each of this context, one of the key thing which creates a difference is how accountable people are. Accountability starts from individual, it goes to family, it goes to institution, it goes to government, it goes into the wider body. Whenever there is an accountable environment, people, God's people, and people are able to thrive. But when there is no accountability environment, there are a lot of problems. Let us see how these things are working. Now, before moving further, let us try to understand the context in which we are placed. What is the context? What is the current context that we are placed in? All of us know the context is changing on a very rapid pace. What we were in January 2020 is not what we are. Maybe in if we had continued on the same phase, all of us would have been traveling up and down. But we are all confined into a Zoom calls and into an online environment where we are experiencing a new normal. This new normal is giving us lot of opportunities as well as lot of challenges. But how we are accountable in this is a question that we need to ask. And the people around all of us are experiencing a different paradigm. Some of us are able to quickly move into this new paradigm. Some of us are trying to understand what's happening. Some of our friends are not able to understand what's happening. Some of them want to go into this new paradigm, but they are unable to go into it. Some are not given the opportunity to move into this new paradigm. So a whole world of challenge is evolving, as people are moving into this new normal, or I would say as we are moving into the next normal. One of the biggest question that is there in the minds of individuals, especially leaders of organizations, is this question: are we relevant to this context? How am I relevant in this context? The context has changed. How I should be relevant? Should I keep on changing how I am functioning, or how I deliver, or how I am engaged to be relevant to the context? Or should we be driven by the relevance? There are huge amount of questions. There are uh, there are possibilities, there are acceptance in both these questions, but it depends on each and every individual or leader who is raising this question. The next question that is placed before organizations or for missions is, now the biggest question is, how will I sustain? How can I sustain? How will I sustain the organization with whom I serve? When the question of sustainability comes in, fortunately or unfortunately, the sustainability question is going only to financial related sustainability. Non-financial related sustainability is not getting preeminence that it should get. So what's happening is, some of the leaders are talking in terms of, instead of sustainability, they are talking about how will I continue the mission? How will I continue the vision? How will I continue the organization? They are not thinking about now and today, they are thinking about the next 100 years. Sustainability gives a different perspective. Mission continuity opens up a new different perspective. So leaders are going through this challenge as of now. Somewhere we are also able to observe that fear has taken over faith. For most of us, the faith is a very basic component of our life. We move forward in faith, but when there is a pandemic situation, when there is a crisis, when there is uncertainty around us, fear takes over rather than faith. How are we? Where are we? Can faith sustain and drive us, or will fear drift us and take into a different direction? This is something, which we are trying to understand. We are seeing in the life of many organizations. CIM has been working with over 1,000 organizations in the last 20 years. We have trained about 35,000 individuals in various areas. So when we are engaging with people at this point of time, this is a big challenge. We don't want fear to take over faith. Rather, we want people, we love to have people more, we love people will have more faith, and fear will not be able to be there, stand there. So that is what we are, kind of dreaming all about. And one thing that we have to understand from now on, the new normal is uncertainty is here to stay. um, this is what kind of many people are predicting. uh, we might not we might not go back to the normal. Going back to the normal might not be the right phrase. What they are saying is we are moving into a new normal. The new normal will be filled with uncertainty. I might find a little negative, but if we are aware of it, but if we know the context in which we are functioning, then we will have the boldness to face the situation. So what I'm trying to encourage all of us is, don't be let's not be taken over by fear, but let's be grounded in faith. Let us not be carried away by uncertainty, but let us conduct ourselves with lot of hope and with lot of conviction. When we say that, I want to move, I want to place this whole discussion of accountability from a spiritual perspective, because accountability, as doctor was mentioning, is a responsibility. I would rather say it is a sacred responsibility. Accountability is not just about a responsibility, it's a sacred responsibility. What our founder, Dr. Ebenezer Sundaraj, he always says is, it is a celestial responsibility for a terrestrial environment. It is about a higher calling. Accountability is not just an ordinary thing. It is a celestial responsibility that are given unto each and every one of us, and as collectively, for this terrestrial environment. Let us look at it from that perspective, so that we will be able to understand it much more in clarity. Um, as we move further, one of the key things that we have to understand in our mind is, there are two sides. One is individual accountability, the other one is institutional accountability. Individual accountability is very, very much required for all of us. Accountability with ourselves, accountability with our families, accountability with our children, our spouses, our niece and nephew, our extended family, to our society. And accountability is needed. That will create a thriving environment. That's what I'm trying to say. That for establishing that individual accountability, it is a sole responsibility. It's up to us. Each one of us, we have to do it from us. It is all about, it emanates, it generates from us. We have to conduct ourselves. Then the next one is institutional accountability. When it comes to the institutional accountability, it is a collective responsibility. Even I would say a family also is accountable, a society is accountable. Each one of us, when we participate outside the individual nature, we move into the institutional nature, and we join together as accountable partners. Metas Adventist College has a institutional accountability, a collective responsibility to the society, a collective responsibility to the nation, and a collective responsibility to God. So what I would like to place before all of us is a process of thinking where we are accountable to each of us, accountable to the society, and accountable to the nation, and by and large accountable to God himself. That is what we are called here for. So I would like to place that perspective before you as I move further. Here I would like to help us understand when we work with different organizations. We work with very many organizations, institutions, schools, hospitals, all these institutions. One of the things that we see on accountability is the crux of accountability places itself on top of governance. In an institution, how the governance framework is set. If the governance framework is set in the proper order, or if the leadership in the organizations, if they are able to understand the governance framework in perspective, then there is a whole opportunity for accountability to thrive in organizations. So what are those governance frameworks? The first one is, we are all called to be accountable. All of us, individuals and collectively, the leadership, the management, we are called to be accountable. When we are accountable, we enable, we equip, we build. This is what is happening in our society when we are accountable. The next important framework that comes under governance is how we are transparent. Most of the time, what happens is we struggle to be transparent. We do not want us to be in a vulnerable spot. We do not want to talk a spade as spade. We do not want to challenge untruth. We are not bold enough to stand with truth. So these are all the things that are happening around transparency. In governance, the 5 frameworks that I'm going to place before us, one is accountable, the other is transparent, the third one is compliance. For Meta's Adventist College, there are a lot of compliance that needs to happen within the system and outside the system. Compliance needs to happen for us within the organization, and organization has to comply with a lot of things to the external world, for the government, for the other peer institutions. There are a lot of compliance nature that is placed before us. How are we open to compliance? Are we willing to comply, or are we willing to compromise? Which is driving us? Is a question that we need to ask under the governance framework. The next most important thing is, how are we responding uh, for all these things that are happening around us? We have to be accountable. We want to be transparent. We want to comply. But how do we respond? Our response mechanism, will it give opportunity for society to thrive, or are we putting the society into much more hardship? It's not only society. In our governance framework, in our accountable framework, the way we respond is very, very critical, because we are helping individuals and societies to thrive, as well as individuals and societies to break. And when we talk about that, there is a huge stewardship responsibility on all of us. Huge stewardship responsibility. God has called us to be faithful stewards. None of us own anything. We are here in the life for 70 years, maybe 10 more years. That is our lifetime. But each generation is called to be faithful. Each generation is called to exhibit its stewardship responsibility. So this is the world of governance, and how we are, where we are. On top of all these things, as you see, accountability and transparency sits on top of each and everything. I would like to request all of you, if you have any questions, I would request you to put those questions in the chat box, or whatever advice is given to you. I will finish the presentation, and then we will take the questions. Thank you for this understanding. As somebody was mentioning, accountability actually starts here. For all the organizations and for individuals, it says where there is no vision, people perish. Where an individual does not have a vision, they perish. When an organization does not have vision, they perish. It all gives clarity under the vision, mission, and core values. Each of us, I do not know how many of us sitting here, we have our own vision statement. Many individuals have their own vision statement. Many individuals have their mission statement. They have their core values. Organizations has their vision, mission, and core values. This gives us clarity. It helps us to understand where we are going. When we have this clarity throughout the journey, accountability framework will give us some clarity as to this is where we are journeying. We have to do this, and it also gives us clarity. Vision, mission, and core values gives us more clarity what to do and what not to do. In the existing framework, there are a lot of things we are compelled to take, but we have to have the boldness to see what to take and what not to take. It gives us a framework, as I was mentioning to you. It gives us a beautiful framework, vision, mission, and core values for organizations. Gives us a real good framework to be accountable, to be anchored under accountability. It gives us a roadmap, clear roadmap as to this is how I have to go. This is how we have to go. I will walk this walk and I will be focused on this. I will not move away from this. This will take me away from my vision, mission, and core values. So accountability structures is framed based on the vision, mission, and core values. This is how we understand it. Now, I want to place before all of us organizational perspective of accountability. This thought process has emerged because we have developed these things over a period of time, having the experience to interact with lot of organizations, huge amount of organizations. Each organization goes through a struggle. There are mission organizations, there are religious organizations, there are institutions like educational institutions, there are hospitals, there are corporates. There are many people having many perspectives under organization. What I am placing before you here is an overall understanding, absolutely an overall understanding. But when you go to mission, when you go to educational institutions, it can be fine-tuned, it can be framed in a different way, but point of time I am putting it in a bigger perspective. One is, as I mentioned it, placed here, organization should be mission driven. We need to have a vision, we need to have a mission, we need to have a core value which will tell us where we are going and what we are trying to achieve. That is how we are defined as to what we are doing. We cannot be all things for all people. We cannot be doing 100 things, but we have to do things which will take us in a direction, which will give us focus, and that is how we are. And this when we have this, it gives a framework for accountability. The next thing that gives clarity for accountability in organizations is, based on the vision, mission, and core values, based on the purpose, we develop our policies, we develop our procedures, we develop our guidelines, and it will help the management and the people who are part of the organizations, the stakeholders, to have clarity, to take choices. I have a lot of choices before me, but my vision, mission, and core values and my policies gives us the framework and helps me to make a choice in life. There are values, there are ethics in our life. in individual's life, that will define what are the choices we should take. I can have the choice to do this. I always have the freedom to choose something good or also choose something bad. What are the choices that I'm making? The vision, mission, policies gives us the direction as we move forward. Then there has to be a sacred commitment to adhere to these policies, to the vision's mission at all levels. Only then we will be able to move forward. If there is a world of compromise, if there is a world of miscommunication, if there is a environment of not committing to the core values, we are in problem. We are not there. We are just surviving. We are just there, but not there to create a difference. When we want to live in an environment of accountability, reporting is one of the most important things. Leaders, CEOs, heads of institution, we report to the board and the governance. Board and society, they report to the government. CEOs are responsible for the staff. The staff are responsible to the community. In your case, you have a responsibility to the society. You have a responsibility to the parents. How does the reporting mechanism work? When I'm open, when I'm able to report in the right spirit to the people around me, both sides, I build an accountable environment. How does that happen? It is a very difficult thing, but it has to be thought through. In all our experiences over the years, we have seen that if organizations, if they have a good reporting mechanism up and down, the organization thrives. There is a world of accountability. If there is a compromise, or if they don't want to report anything, then people love to do everything on their own. So they are not willing to be accountable. So this is something which we place before organization. The next thing that I want to place before all of us is organizations and individuals, we go through a lot of challenges. The current scenario, we go through a lot of challenges. How do we reconcile? Is there a redressal mechanism within the system? Any institution, how are redressal mechanisms established in institutions? The government of India has also requested the Supreme Court to frame a internal redressal mechanism for organizations, because if the internal redressal mechanisms, if they are in place, confusions or disturbances will not go to the external world. They will not be able to go to the court. Everything will be operated within the system. It will be addressed. But if it is not addressed within, lot of internal struggles are going into the external world. So government of India is also trying to say, try to establish internal mechanisms so all the issues are solved within the system. So that is a very, very honorable thing. It gives huge opportunity for accountability. The other important thing that we need to understand is, yes, effective policies, procedures, guidelines are very, very important, but it cannot be there forever and ever. It needs update. Based on the current scenario, some of the policies requires updation. We have seen institutions in India and other parts of Asia where institutions are established from 40 or 50 years back, but we cannot survive with the same policies for a long time. Sometimes we need updation of policies. If these are not updated, then there is a huge challenge for accountability. This is what we have seen, and this is what we are recommending. The other most important thing that we are trying to recommend and place before organizations is, each of us have stakeholders. For example, Metas Adventist School, college, you have lot of stakeholders, right from your board. your head of institutions, management, your staff, your students, your alumni, your society, the government, your local government, the educational, peer educational institutions. There are a lot of stakeholders. How are we going to uh, place ourselves with all our stakeholders? Do our stakeholders know who we are? Do they know Meta's Adventist College is known for this? This is what they do. And they say, if something else happens, they will say, no, we cannot believe this. This is what they are known for, and this is how they will do, and this is what they are. Can we place honorable values and systems in the society? When people look at us, when we are living in the framework of like responsibility to our stakeholders, the accountability structures also fall in place. We love to be accountable to each other, to the society, to our stakeholders. Finally, if there is no leadership commitment, all these things can fall, can just drift. It all depends on the leadership commitment in organizations. How there is a strong leadership commitment in organizations. Now I want to place before you two paths in administration. I have shown a picture here down. It's just a forest. In a forest environment, there is a huge amount of accountability to thrive. God has created forest and the environment to thrive. But unfortunately, we have meddled with the whole system and we have confused it. But if you look at the forest, there is a tree which grows, a leaf is there, which dries up, which falls, it becomes manure, and it gives life for that tree and for other tree. A whole world of recycling happens within the forest system, so that each one gives opportunity for the others to live. Somehow, man, the human being who is created in God's image, has not understood this. When all the things within the forest is allowing the things within the forest to live and thrive, somewhere we are messing up the whole thing. How do we miss them? There is a common path and there is a stewardship path. I will be sharing this presentation with Ranjit and with all of you. I would recommend, don't stop with this thought process during this webinar alone, but take a printout and start taking notes. Let us move into a world of accountability. When we are placed in the society, the forest will not be able to thrive when we are in the common path. What are these things? The nature, what God intended, will not be able to thrive if we are driven by production, numbers, that kind of a driven leadership. If we are able to do the common path, it might be very difficult for us to survive. Now, are we focused only on expansion? Just expansion, expansion, expansion. How are we focused? It's a question that each one of us need to ask. We are not called for a earthly oriented metrics. We are all heavenly beings. That is what we are trying to say. We are in a sacred responsibility. We cannot operate from a earthly oriented metrics, but we are called for a different purpose. How is our results? Are we really focused on result based management? Are we looking only at utilitarian view of resources? This is the common path. Now we want to place before you the stewardship path. The other side of the choice that is available for us is, how are we stewards in our responsibilities that God has given unto us? Is it focused on successful leadership? Success, is it only focused on success, or is it focused on faithfulness? Somebody asked Mother Teresa, how do you define life? And she was saying, I want to be more faithful than to be successful. When I am faithful, I give opportunities for life to survive, thrive. When I want to be successful, somehow I don't allow life to sustain. Where are we? What is our eternity oriented metrics? Are we building accountability frameworks based on the relationship or based on results? Is a question that we need to ask. This by itself is a half a day seminar or webinar, but I'm trying to put it all in just a few minutes. How are we looking at the resources God has placed before us? Do we want to just utilize it, or we want to be stewards in this whole framework? This is something which all of us need to think through. As I come closely to the last one or two slides, I want to place before all of us 7 habits of highly effective strategic leadership. As we always keep telling this, let us be grounded. Let us be grounded on our vision, mission, and core values. Let us have a deep commitment, a leadership commitment, and a governance commitment. When I say governance, I would like to say that we are responsible for each other. I don't control everything. I am responsible. I am accountable. Accountability is all about I am responsible. I am part of the society. I am responsible and I interact with the other person or with the system. I don't take decision on my own. How are we? Where are we? When we want to establish strategic leadership, one of the biggest things that we need to do is how do we communicate? How do we communicate what we do? All our stakeholders, when we want to communicate, when we effectively communicate with our stakeholders, all of them are willing to journey along with us. If we are not able to communicate, people think that they are trying to hide something. People will not be able to journey along with us in the change process. When we communicate effectively, there is a beautiful opportunity for managing change. One of the things that we need to understand, all of us, is we are in a relational environment. We are not here as institutions. People relate with people. That is one of the biggest things that we need to understand. People do not relate with institutions. That is a truth that all of us need to understand. People relate with people. How are we relational in that? How are we creating an enabling environment for accountability? Is a question that we need to ask. As I was mentioning, we are not alone. It is a shared ownership. It's a collective accountability. It's a collective responsibility. It's a shared leadership. How are we together, functioning together? In accountability, setting accountability frameworks, one of the things that we recommend is avoid the clutter. Don't do so many things. You select the strategic few and focus on that. That is what we are trying to say. And one of the biggest responsibility is we need to move into a world of listening for feedback and learning. Sometimes, or even most of the times, we are not willing to listen. We are not able to quieten ourselves. If we are able to listen, if we are able to take feedback, if we are able to quieten ourselves, we will be able to rectify. We are all not perfect. None of us are perfect. So as we listen, we can rectify the mistakes. We are willing to make changes and we will be able to move forward. As I close, I share this insight before all of us. Accountability, it is not only what we do, but also what we do not do. There is a responsibility that is given unto us. If we don't do that, for that also we are accountable. It's not only we are accountable for what we do, but we are accountable for what we do not do. Thank you so much, and I trust it was helpful. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Anand Joshua, sir, for giving us immense knowledge about accountability and its implications in today's competitive world through spiritual path. I would like to call upon Ms. Vinita Chopra, Assistant Professor, Mitas Adventist College, to conduct the question answer session.
Thank you, Tushti ma'am. Before moving on to the questions, I want to read out certain comments from YouTube from the participant side. It was an effective and informative session. In one word, I want to sum up the session. It was knowledgeable. Starting from the first question from Urvi Jain.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Urvi Jain, and my question to you, I'm from Metas Adventist College, and my question to you is, what does workplace accountability refers to?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay. What does workplace accountability refers to?
Yeah. Workplace accountability is one of the most important thing that will enable organizations. um, I think we are struggling there. It all depends on they say, have you heard of this abbreviation for ego? They say what we do is, in ego we edge God out of us. They say, like, a faithful person will be more will be willing to be more accountable and accept each other. All of us are not perfect. That is an environment that we need to understand. Each of us learn from the others. That's why I place the forest before us. Forest, the nature is able to accept each other, and it's willing to thrive. How are we in the workplace? Are we willing to be accountable? It's a whole world of giving up. It's not about ownership. It is about giving up for the welfare of the whole organization. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Tarini Nandwani, and I'm a student of Mitas Adventist College. And my question to you is, what is the meaning of transparency and accountability?
Accountability, yeah, good question. Accountability is, for example, if I want to share it from a personal perspective, me as Anand, I am part of an institution called Christian Institute of Management. I have to be accountable to the board. I am accountable to my staff. I'm accountable to the society. I'm accountable to the people around. What happens is, when I'm in the accountable framework, I can also operate without giving all the necessary information to my stakeholders. I can definitely live an accountable life, show to the world an accountable life without being transparent. But what happens is, it will fall. What the world and the society has shown us over the years is, an accountable framework without transparency, without being open, without passing the right information, is doomed for destruction. So when I'm accountable, I also want to be transparent and give the truth and share the information in the right way. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Riva Bagri. I am the student of Metas Adventist College. Quoting you, uncertainty is here to stay. I want to ask you, how does uncertainty affect accountability?
Uh, there is a huge world of challenge for each and every individual. What happens is, it all depends on, when I live in the society is operating in a particular environment. The society is placed within the world of challenges. The society is present in the world of lot of confusions. We don't have clarity on many things, uncertainty, crisis, all those things. But an individual, when the individual, when the individual is driven by normal things, We are totally, if suppose if I operate that everything around me is normal, then my accountability mechanism itself will be different. But when I live, when I am aware of the state that all around me, things are not going to be the same. It will keep on changing. Things might not happen for the good. There might also be challenging environment. If we are aware of that, then I will be clear on how I can be accountable. So that is how we develop our accountability frameworks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Fanny Kevadia. I am the student of Metas Adventist College. And my question to you is, what is the role of accountability in project management?
Beautiful question. You know, people, we people want to engage with us with the world of trust. Trust is very, very, very important in a operating environment of organizations or individuals. We all operate on trust. Suppose if Anand Joshua, you invited me for this webinar, if I had not come here on time, if I had not taken my responsibility in a perfect way, if I had taken it for granted, if I had delayed, a whole world of mistrust evolves. If there is a, for me, if Metas Adventist College, if you have behaved in a different way, I develop a trust or mistrust on you. You understand? That is where, yeah, we are living in a world of trust deficit. How can we place trusting environment in our society? Each one of us here, sitting here in the webinar, how can we build trusting environment in the society is very, very important. And when somebody partners with us, somebody wants to evaluate something, how do we place those trusting frameworks within the project management is something which I want you to discover and evolve.
Thank you, sir.
Trust it was helpful, Fanny.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Heath Uswal of Metas Adventist College. And my question to you is, can accountability be delegated?
It can happen. Accountability can both be taken by individuals and accountability be delegated in a framework of trust. Accountability is not one way. Accountability is a group environment. It's a collective responsibility, as I was mentioning. So absolutely accountability can be delegated.
Thank you, sir.
We have some questions from the YouTube. First question is, what is the meaning of stewardship?
Stewardship is, in the biblical parlance, what is being said is, I have been given a leadership responsibility. What I can do is, there is a choice that is there before me. There is a leadership responsibility in me. I command and control everything around me, everybody around me, and I make the environment serve me. I am not focused on the vision, mission, or core values. I make the system and the structures and the procedures serve me. But in a stewardship responsibility, what is happening is, I look at it as a sacred responsibility. I serve. Instead of the system serving me, I serve so that I take all that is given, and the people that are given unto me, the people who are reporting unto me, I don't take them for granted. I work along with them. I want to establish accountable systems. I believe that it is not about me alone, it is about the group. I take care of my staff. I take care of my responsibility. that is stewardship, so stewardship is more about me giving up for the bigger cause.
And so the second question is how to motivate oneself to complete unpleasant assignments.
We need to see one of the biggest recommendation that people are placing before in this trying situation in a very challenging environment is first, it is good for all of us to have clarity on who we are, why we are, what we do, when are we doing, why we are doing, and how we are doing. It is about can we develop a purpose statement for us? Can each of us, I do not know how many of you sitting here have your own vision statement. I want to, is it possible for you to chat on the chat box? If you have yes, say yes. If you say no, can you write? I want to just anxious to see. Yes, if you have yes, write yes, or no, say no. I want to just to see, how many of us have yes and no. Yes, yes, yes. 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 Good. I see a lot of yes. I don't see no. Very good. Excellent. Our personal vision statements should help us take decisions in life. Our vision statements are not there just in the paper. Our vision statements should help us give clarity, and our vision statements is not only to take us during the goodness of all the situation, even during the challenging times of our life, even during unpleasant situations in life, our vision should be able to drive us to take the right decision. So I would like to, answer that, go to a much bigger paradigm and go to the much strategic level and say, what is my vision? Why am I here? Why am I part of Meta's Adventist College? Is my vision statement and Meta's vision statement, does it match? Or the environment where I live in, will my vision statement and my the organization's vision statement, does it match? The problem happens only when there is no match. We compromise for the sake of survival. Are we compromising for the sake of survival, or are we driven by our vision? This question that each of us need to ask. If we are there only for the sake of survival, yeah, there will be a lot of questions. There will be a lot of challenges, and each one of us have to take responsibility for that.
That's all for the question answer session, sir. Thank you, Vinita ma'am. Now I would like to call upon Mrs. Vishwakika Ganesh for vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. As all things comes to an end in life, so is the good webinar. On behalf of Metas Adventist College, I, Vishwakika Ganesh, Assistant Professor, take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have contributed to this webinar on Accountability, the Key Differentiator. At the outset, I thank our resource person, Mr. Anand Joshua. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. We are thankful to our Honorable President, Dr. Ilya Shrikakoli, and HOD of Management, Dr. Anil Kumar, and the college administration for initiating this webinar series. A special thanks to the organizing committee, teaching and non-teaching staff for their support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to our participants who dedicated their time and made themselves available to attend this webinar. Your presence has made a big difference today. Thank you for joining us. Please do watch our more webinars and be a part of learning community of Metas Adventist College, Surat. I wish you all a good day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwa ma'am. Few announcements to be noted by the participants. Please do fill and submit the feedback form before 12 p.m. on 1st December. Registration and submission of the feedback form is mandatory to get participation e-certificate. Your e-certificate will be provided through the link in Telegram group as well as on the registered email ID in next 5 working days. Participations are requested not to leave the Telegram group as communications related to certificates will be done on the same platform. Once again, I would like to thank all the participants and our resource person for being with us today for this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you so much.